Welcome to the AUA News Inside Tract podcast. Today's Inside Tract podcast is part of the Voices series, which is brought to you by the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. Here we'll be joined in conversation with committee members, AUA members, and urologists from around the world to discuss how to build a strong, vibrant, and diverse urological community.
Thank you for listening to Voices. I am Dr. Arthur Bud Burnett, Director of the Basic Science Laboratory in Neuro-Urology and Professor of Urology at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. I am also the primary curator of the AUA's History Booth exhibit at the annual meeting in San Antonio, Texas in May of this year. I am happy to join you with my fellow urologist and curator, Dr. Linda McIntire. Today, we are talking about Onward and Upward, celebrating Black urologists in America. Dr. McIntire, thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your background as well.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Burnett. Well, I'm a native Detroiter, trained in Michigan. I actually graduated from Wayne State School of Medicine and trained at Henry Ford Health in Detroit, Michigan. I practiced at the Veterans Administration Medical Center for many years, and now I'm currently employed with My Michigan Health in Midland, Michigan. I'm the immediate past president of the R. Frank Jones Urological Society and one of the inaugural members of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force for the American Urologic Association. I've been pleased and very happy and excited to work with you on the AUA's Black History history exhibit that will be in San Antonio, May 3rd through the 6th. Dr. Burnett, can you explain the theme of the exhibit and why it's significant to you?
Well, certainly. The theme of the exhibit, as the title would suggest, is that we want to celebrate Black urologists in America, the history of Black urologists making contributions and certainly being recognized for their being part of what urology in America is all about. Historically, as in many segments of society, many times those who are in underrepresented minority groups have not been acknowledged for what contributions they have brought to a field, a discipline, a specialty area. And I do acknowledge the AUA, the Diversity and Inclusion Committee for having the courage and the sensibility here to recognize the contributions and say we need to do something here to bring to the broader community the extent to which urologists who happen to have African-American ancestry a recognition. And so that's what it's all about. The theme is to acknowledge these contributions that encompass a range of areas, so from original scientific contributions, clinical progress, even unconventional leadership in our field, and take it back to some of the origins, which you have done such a great job with. Have been the president of the R. Frank Jones Society. Certainly you could enlighten me a little bit more in our audience as to what you think is the theme and how this is important, and perhaps your role within the R. Frank Jones Urologic Society, and how that at least acknowledges one of our forefathers in the field, R. Frank Jones.
Yes, thank you. It's important because, as you know, R. Frank Jones was one of the first Black men to be board certified in urology and had a distinguished career in urology, establishing a residency at Howard University to train other men of African descent at that time to become urologists as early as 1947. And the history of R. Frank Jones is in and of itself inspirational because it tells the tale of a man that was very resilient with intellectual prowess and the courage of a surgeon to continue to fight for other African Americans to become urologists, as well as being excellent in the field of urologic surgery. And so one of the things that I'm so excited about is honoring our ancestors. Not only did we honor Dr. R. Frank Jones by being able to talk about his legacy and the organization that is named after him. But we also get to honor living legends, which you and I participated in at Henry Ford Hospital with Dr. Craig Rogers as the chair, your resident, my friend. And there are a lot of living legends, African American men who are urologists in the city of Detroit. And we had an opportunity to do video interviews with these living legends, as well as ask them questions and have them to be interviewed by residents as part of the video part of the exhibit. So I'm very excited about the video portion of the exhibit where we interview these living legends, and the corollary to our Detroit experience where Dr. Cheryl Lee interviews Dr. Carol Bennett at UCLA. So that being a part of the installation is very exciting to me. What part of the installation are you excited about, Dr. Burnett?
Well, thank you, Linda. And you know, I'm excited by the fact that we have brought in so many contributors just for the exhibit. There's a number of individuals that are part of this exhibit. Certainly this has come about through the R. Frank Jones Society. And when I was asked to be the lead curator, I got you involved, got a couple other people involved, and then looked to get involvement from other younger Black urologists to help put together the exhibit. And just the extent to which this has come together beautifully with so many contributors, bringing different perspectives, helping us tell the story here, to me is truly impressive. And to me, that's one of the features that I'm most proud of and excited about with regard to how we're producing this.
Yes, it is very exciting. To the way the exhibit is set up is we not only focus on the past, but we include the present as we look toward the future. And having the mixture of young urologists with our living legends it is very insightful. And also, I think that there will be elements of the exhibit that will appeal to the younger generation that will help cement it in their minds the legacy that they come from. So I'm really excited about being able to see the dream and the fruition of all of our work come together in San Antonio. Is going to be really exciting.
Absolutely. Now, with regard to the exhibit, what do you think, Linda, are some of the key takeaway messages that for those attending,
Right.
you'd like to think that they leave with?
Yes, definitely. Urology residency is difficult for everyone. And I think that when you're a minority in urology, it may appear that it may be a little bit more difficult because you may feel alone at some times, but the resilience of the urologist and also the friendships that they formed, I think is an encouragement and is hope for the future. And when I look at the life of Dr. R. Frank Jones, I'm inspired that so much has happened in such a short period of time in a historical perspective, and encouraged by the fact that, yes, we have a long way to go, but I believe that it's possible. It makes me feel and it encourages me that it's possible. And so I get excited about that because I was reading the trials of a pioneer in urology, and that was the words of Dr. R. Frank Jones as he spoke in 1978 at the AUA History exhibit. And he talked about how he didn't have the opportunity to look through a cystoscope and how that was reserved for other urologists and not a privilege that was conferred to him. And I really, really thought that that was impactful because I don't think that younger urologists understand how far African Americans have come in the field of urology. Also, I want to talk about allyship, how you come far, but you come far with your friends, friends who understand, that you belong in urology, that you have talent and intellect, and that you can change the world, and who support you in your dreams of doing great things in urology. And I think that will be highlighted in the exhibit as well. So those are the things that I think makes me excited, is the fact that I think that we will present an installation that will be encouraging to the younger generation, but respectful to the older generation as well. So I'm excited to get the feedback on it, but I look forward to it, and definitely want everyone to come and participate in our exhibit at the AUA in San Antonio.
Thank you. That's very thoughtful, and I would agree with everything you said. Some additional remarks that I might share in terms of what I hope our takeaway messages are going to be similar. That as you mentioned, what the program that we did in Detroit, some of our senior Black urologists, you have to be inspired once you hear about the challenges they faced, how they looked out for the community that they were involved with, providing services where nobody was providing services. I hope some of those messages do resonate with others who may not recognize these communities and these challenges that those and some of these additional populations that we deal with as Black urologists. I think even in my practice today, let alone how it was done 30, 40, 50 years ago, it does include a lot of individuals who don't necessarily come through the other clinics. And I think your practice is similar to mine, where we do everything we can to make sure we look after the Black community, those who are underprivileged in certain ways. We want to make sure that they provide these services and carry out our mission, if you will. In many ways, it may not seem that traditional. And this non-traditional practice, non-traditional leadership, the mentorship that we do for each other, the allyship that you allude to, these are things that I think may kind of go under the radar screen for many people.
Right.
To bring this sort of thing along. And I think these are not minimal things. These are very huge aspects of how we as a broad community of all backgrounds in America should recognize within our specialty. So I hope these messages do carry through.
Yes, and how we're all intricately related to one another. And that was something that I got from Bart Ragoon's display on the Black urologist contribution to scholarly articles, and the connection between all of the articles, how he could, as a librarian, could take one name, and from that one name populate a map to show how it generated other articles, and just to see the impact that Black urologists have had on academic urology that many may not be aware of. And so I'm excited for that visual representation of Black Americans' contribution to urology, and that I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Absolutely. And that scholarship is not just, looking at disparities or just minority populations. I think many of us have made some huge contributions in the field for all urologists and for the patient population at large. And these things are not necessarily recognized, and that the community of urologists and others coming to the exhibit do take away some appreciation of just the value of Black urologists to have brought the field forward.
Right. And that ties into DEI, and why it's so important is that we want to be inclusive of all genius in urology, no matter what the color, the gender, no matter what, because as we include everyone, we include all of the talents, the skills, the intellectual prowess of all these individuals. And just as 50% of a woman's practice is made up of men. The same with Black urologists. It's not just moving urology forward for Black people, but it's moving urology forward as a profession, as a field, as a subspecialty. And so by showing the contributions that these urologists have made in academic medicine and with their publications, it also validates, if you will, the urgency and the need for diversity, equity, and inclusion in urology, that we need that scholarly impact. We need that intellectual prowess and contribution to our field to move it forward. And without it, we will remain stagnant. And so I'm encouraged by that. I think that the exhibit is a testament to the resilience and the strength of Black urologists, and also encouragement and hope that, we can continue to move forward with the efforts that have been established by the AUA through the DEI task force and now the DEI committee.
That's wonderful. You said it beautifully. And, the truth of the matter is diversity, equity, inclusion is not just a matter of just saying, okay, we just want to acknowledge there's some individuals and just bring them into the room. Rather, it's a matter of just knowing and really appreciating that there are talents and perspectives in a diverse way that will enhance the entire community. And
Exactly.
it's a matter of appreciating that, really taking that thought to the next level, not just saying it just as kind of just a perfunctory kind of thing, just with it, bring everybody in and just see what happens. No, there are true talent to people we don't always think of from historical boards and committees and things of that sort. And we should acknowledge that.
Right. And actually, I think that the AUA's efforts, at least is my belief, and maybe just because I'm a urologist, is that we're in the forefront of many other subspecialties when it comes to DEI. That the efforts that have been made in urology, and even just the last 5 years, I think have been outstanding. The opportunities that exist for students to participate in a national conference and to be mentored by urologists across the country didn't exist when I was a student. I'm sure they didn't exist when you were a student either. And I'm excited about it because it's as if urology has opened its arms to the students of America. Like, come on, we want to teach you how to be a urology no matter who you are. And that's encouraging to me, and it makes me feel way more comfortable as a Black woman in urology, that I'm part of a specialty that cares and is actually making the effort to make a difference.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll echo that. I think that, the AUA, I think is very sincere about this from my interactions with the leadership there. And so I'm very pleased, very encouraged, very supportive of how the AUA is doing this in a way that it makes sense here. Again, not just to bring people to the dance, but make sure they are dancing, as the metaphor goes. And I think this is great for urology in America. So again, this exhibit to me represents that. And I hope that to those attending and hopefully taking away messages from this, they see that as well.
Yes, thank you. I agree. Very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to it.
This has been Voices, an AUA News Inside Track podcast, and is brought to you by the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. For more information about the AUA's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, visit auanet.org/diversity.